it's time to get the electric mower finished off. So this bearing was in there with this big shaft on. As expected and pointed out by a number of people, the bearing got full of crud and is pretty gritty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ditch this. I'm going to press this shaft back out of this bearing. I'm then going to use this lump to house a couple of sealed bearings that I have. So turn that shaft down to press into those, fit those bearings into here, and then probably use these screw holes to mount that onto here. Then I've already sliced off the long prong where these wires used to go up through the centre of that. So we pulled the wires through and lopped it off, so now we've got a much lower profile. The other thing I want to do is drop this down as low as it can go. So obviously got screws and things here, but if we can get it that low, then the total height I want to get about 100 millimeters, and I want to bring this inboard so it's inside the footprint of this circle that I've made. Then what I'm going to do is somehow make a sheet metal surround and a lid. Battery packs need building, but I've designed and 3D printed these battery holders based on these, but I couldn't make these fit nicely, so I had to do this. So these are going to fit just here. So I'm going to have a little hatch or something in the top so I can get the batteries in and out. So I'm going to have 2 of these, be able to change them. So that means moving the adjusty prong up to here, and fitting the driver board in without it hitting that, and leaving enough room for the batteries. But I think it's doable. So I used the magnetic attachment for the hydraulic press to draw the shaft out, as you can see. Right, this is going to be heavy duty cutting, so I'm going to use the WNMG. One millimeter cut. Ooh, seems like a lot. Alright, we're back. Now I've got my inverter in place, lathe's working, I've finished turning the step on this part, and now I'm just going to bore this out for the bearings. Alright, so after much squealing, we've got the bearing recess cut in here. I've got my flange and I need to mount it to here. I will need to press the bearings in, but I need to drill and tap some holes first. So I'm aiming to line up that hole with the front. So it doesn't really matter that much, but let's get it roughly in line. Oh. I'm going to use these stainless cap screws to secure it. If I have the screw fully engaged in this bit of material, I'll put that up. You can see I'm going to have to just counterbore ever so slightly. What's that, about 3mm to accommodate the screw. So I shall drill those holes and counterbore them and fit that. I'm just going to press these bearings in with the vise. As low as I can go. Oh dear. Better. Oh, I'm pleased with those fits. Bollocks. So that didn't go terribly well. Should have seen that coming, really. Holding it by the flanges in the 3-jaw, it's just gonna, as soon as it's gonna snag on that through hole there for the grub screw, yeah, it just ripped it clean out. So I'm gonna have to straighten these out and clamp it down on the mill. So next I've got to work out how to attach this to here. Got a hole, and if I actually put the belt in position around there, that goes in, and actually it's a pretty good tension in that position. So hoping I'm not going to need an adjustment for this. Right, that's the counterbore's done and the nut done up. I know it's a nylock, we haven't quite hit the nylon, but I think I'm just going to have to put a grub screw in or something to lock this off. But it spins nicely. Right, so now I've just got to relieve here for the nut. Probably big enough for a socket, so I'm going to put a socket on there and see how big that needs to be. 17, 19, 26. So just using the 12mm bar to get that on the mill centre line, and then we'll clamp that down and bore that out. So this is the area where the battery will go, and what I want to do is relieve that so I can sink a plastic carrier in there to well, A, hold it in place, B, stop it shorting on the metal. I've sunk this cap screw down into the metal, and there's now a good 3mm, probably 1/4 of an inch, sorry, 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch clearance. This lip here is only about it's less 1.5mm, so I'm going to go down 2.5mm, so I've got a nice step in there to locate the batteries. Clamp that in the vise so that I can make this thing fit. First off, I'm going to have to slit this spot weld here, and then we'll have to pull it tight. British summer. It was scorching hot a few days ago. Now it's 22 degrees and raining. Right, so this is a automotive type spot welder. This dangly bit here is the probe I use for spot welding the batteries, which I'll show you shortly. But for the moment, we are going to spot weld this together. Ow. Eight lovely little spot welds holding the thing together. I might just dress the outside a bit with the grinder. Let's just check that it actually still fits. Let's go to here. Oh, it's a nice snug fit. Lovely. Right, here we are, all the parts inside the what now looks like a biscuit tin. Just looking across there, that is just under. That's a result. These wires can be sorted out to be underneath, but that bit doesn't turn, so it's this outer bit that turns when it's all bolted together. So that's quite good. Okay, so you join me a little later. Now I had a different driver board in there, but I managed to destroy that. I don't know how, but that's the original e-bike controller, which I've managed to get to work to drive this motor. I've put in a couple of dome nuts down here so that when the battery pack goes in and out, it's got something to guide it into position. There's a switch for turning the power on, and I've used the hall switch, which was on here for doing the speed sensing, and I'm going to put it up with the handle. So if I put that, so I've made a little 3D printed enclosure. I've got to hot glue that in there to hold it in position, and that will bolt onto there, meaning that the mechanism to operate it is very similar to the petrol version. And then for the lid, unfortunately, I tried to cast a lid yeah, I miscalculated the amount of aluminium I needed, so it came up a little short. So that was, we'll call that refining. So I've made another lid. This is an old IKEA lamp base, and I stuck the mould pattern on and some bits of foam to make it fit. There we are. Got a lid now. So I just need to finish that handle and we're ready to go. Right, so there we are. That is the e-mower pretty much finished. I've still got to make one more battery pack, and I thought I'd make a separate video on that because that can pretty much stand alone, because it's could be treated as a generic making a lithium battery project. So that'll be coming up at some point, but for the moment I've finished. Yeah, sorry it's taken so long, but thanks for watching. Thanks for everyone who subscribed. I've had a lot of subscribers because of this project, so I hope it was worth the wait. If you've got any questions, please ask, and I'll be happy to go into more detail on any of it if people are interested. Thanks for watching. See you next time.